How can a single stone change the course of history? What if I told you that more than 2200 years ago, an emperor did not carve his greatest victory into this rock? He carved his greatest regret. This is Dhauli, the place where the mighty Emperor Ashoka left behind words that still speak to us after 2 millennia. I studied about Ashoka's inscriptions when I was doing my diploma in archaeology and epigraphy. Back then, they were just another chapter to pass an exam. Brahmi script for accurate language, major rock edicts. I know the facts, but it was not until I stood here at Dhauli what I understood something much bigger. This is not just an inscription. This is the exact place where one of the history's greatest conquerors carved his own change of heart into the stone. More than 2200 years later, his words are still waiting for us. This is Dhauli Hill, located about 10 kilometers from present-day Bhubaneswar in Odisha. Today it looks so peaceful. The Daya river flows quietly below. But around 261 BCE, this landscape witnessed one of the bloodiest wars in Indian history, the Kalinga War. Ashoka, the third ruler of Mauryan Empire, had ascended the throne around 269 BCE and built one of the largest empires the Indian subcontinent had ever seen. But Kalinga refused to submit. The war that followed changed everything, and according to Ashoka's own inscriptions, over 1 lakh people were killed, many more died later, and countless others were deported. These are not exaggerated legends, these are the emperor's own words. After conquering Kalinga, Ashoka chose this very hill to leave behind a message. Not on a paper or a copper plate, but directly into the living rock. These inscriptions belong to Ashoka's famous major rock edicts, imperial proclamations carved across different parts of his empire. But here is where Dhauli becomes extraordinary. Normally, the major rock edicts contain 14 inscriptions, but at Dhauli, something unusual happens. Edicts 11, 12 and 13 are missing, and that's incredibly significant because Edict 13 contains Ashoka's famous confession about the horrors of the Kalinga War. Instead, those sections were replaced by two unique inscriptions known as separate Kalinga Edicts, also called Kalinga Edict 1 and Kalinga Edict 2. These exist only in Dhauli and Jaugada, nowhere else in Ashoka's empire. This part fascinated me the most. These are not victory speeches, they were administrative instructions. Ashoka addresses his officers, the Mahamatars, who governed Kalinga after the war, and listen to what he tells them. Don't punish people without reason. Don't harass them. Don't rule through fear. Show patience. Listen before judging. Protect the welfare of the people. Think about that. An emperor who had just conquered a kingdom was now instructing his own officials to govern with restraint. The language itself tells us something powerful. This was not simply an empire celebrating victory. It was an empire trying to stabilize a recently conquered land. As someone who studied epigraphy, this is the moment that gives me goosebumps. These letters are written in Brahmi script. The language is Prakrit, the language ordinary people spoke during that period. And here is what is incredible. For centuries, nobody could read them. The writing survived. The meaning did not, until the 19th century. The inscriptions were first documented in 1833 by Lieutenant Markham Kittoy. a British officer and antiquarian exploring Odisha's ancient monuments. Then came an even bigger breakthrough. In 1837, James Prinsep successfully deciphered the Brahmi script. For the first time in nearly 2000 years, people could directly read Ashoka's own words again. Imagine that moment. History did not need translation through legends anymore. The emperor was speaking for himself. And then there is Dhauli's most unforgettable feature, this elephant. Look carefully. Only the front half exists. The rest disappears into the hill. It looks as though the elephant is literally emerging from the rock itself. Kittoy documented this remarkable sculpture in 1837, shortly after the inscriptions gained scholarly attention. Even today, historians continue debating its meaning. One interpretation connects it with Buddhist symbolism. According to Buddhist tradition, Queen Maya dreamed of a white elephant entering her home before the birth of Buddha. Whether intentional or symbolic, the sculpture creates something extraordinary. Nature, architecture, and imperial messaging all carved into single rock face. Standing here, I finally understood something my archaeology classes never fully captured. An inscription is not just a writing, it's an evidence. This rock preserves politics, religion, administration, and language. And one of the history's greatest transformations. More than 2200 years later, Dhauli remains one of the most important archaeological records of the Mauryan Empire. Not because it celebrates conquest, but because it preserves something even rarer, a moment when power made conscience, and instead of carving another victory, an emperor carved a lesson. When I first studied these inscriptions, they were just another topic in archaeology. Today, after standing in front of them, they feel alive, because history is not only preserved inside museums, sometimes it's carved into a hillside. And before we leave Dhauli, look at what's standing above these ancient inscriptions, the Dhauli Stupa. This isn't an Ashokan movement. It was built in 1972 by the Japan Buddha Sangha and Kalinga Nippon Buddha Sangha as a symbol of world peace. I think that's what makes this place truly special. Down below, the rocks preserve the moment when Ashoka chose compassion over conquest. Up here, the white stupa carries that message into the modern world. The same hill that once witnessed the horrors of the Kalinga War now stands as one of India's most powerful reminders that the greatest victory is not winning a war, it's choosing peace after it. If this journey into Bharat's forgotten history amazed you, don't let this story stay buried in stone. Like, share and subscribe to Oye Explore with Hari as we uncover more ancient temples, inscriptions and the incredible heritage our ancestors left behind. Shivaya Namaha, our heritage is our pride.